Hi everyone, thank you for coming back to my channel. I'm Stephanie if you're new here. So for today's video, we are going to be making some freezer meals. I have different ones this month, and last month I couldn't do it just because it was Christmas. I didn't have time. So we are going to make, I think I have like 16 freezer meals. We're gonna see if we can get them all done tonight. It's 5 o'clock and I'm going to try to get all of these done, and I'm going to see if I can double them also, because the ones that I have on there, it just says, what does it say? Some of them will say serving size of like 3 to 4 people. So I'm going to just double it. I did have a question on how I make freezer meals for our whole family. So I don't use these freezer meals every single night. So the night that I'm not going to be able to make a meal, I will put in a freezer meal that afternoon or that morning to have it ready for supper. And who's gonna all eat that night if I'm going to use 2 freezer meals. I have done that before, where I have 2 crock pots and then I'll have 2 different kinds in there if I don't have enough in the one freezer meal. So one freezer meal might be chicken fajitas, and then the other one might be chicken tacos, and I'll just split that up in different crock pots. So I'll do that. Otherwise, I will just double up the recipe. So you can, if the size of the recipe is small enough that you can double it in 1 gallon bag, do that. And I'll do that in some of mine, but some of mine I will just use 2 separate bags and just label it that way. And I'll even sometimes put on there 2 bags or whatever, so that I know that I have another bag for them. So that's what we're gonna do. So for the recipes this month, I have 2 extra ones that we're gonna do at the end of this video. We're going to be making a green smoothie that we can store in the freezer, and we're going to put them in little bags. And then we also have cookies. So we're gonna freeze some cookies and make ahead some chocolate chip cookies. So we're gonna add that to the end of this video. But I'm gonna go over quick the ones that we're going to be making, or that I'm hoping to be able to make. I'm gonna make some monster burgers. We are going to make honey Dijon pork and green beans, crock pot lime shredded pork, crock pot beef fajitas, chicken Philly cheesesteak, orange ginger chicken, a lot of chicken ones, crock pot honey sesame chicken, chicken fajitas. I don't know if I said that already. I thought I said some kind of, I think it was beef fajitas. Lemon pepper chicken, chicken chili, chicken teriyaki, and crock pot Asian chicken and vegetable pot stickers. So you can also put these in your Instant Pot. You don't have to just use your crock pot. You would just lessen the time a little bit for them recipes. So if it asks for 68 hours, I would say like 30 to 40 minutes in your Instant Pot for stuff like that. So the Instant Pot is way faster than using your crock pot. Don't have time and you just need to cook it through the day, then it's better to just use a crock pot. We are going to move on to the green smoothies, and then we're going to move on to the chocolate chip cookies. Okay, we are gonna get started with making these freezer meals. I have so many that I need to make up by the time the kids need to go to bed, and usually it takes a while for me to get these done. Usually in the afternoon is when I have more free time and I can get things done a little bit faster, but I only had a couple of hours to get these done, and a lot of times when I do these, I don't do any prep work beforehand. So I did have a comment from one of my followers that doing some of the prep work maybe the day before, as in cutting up all your vegetables and stuff, would be better, and you can just pull them out and add them to your, your meal or your freezer meal. So what I've noticed with the ones that I picked out for you guys for the month of January, a lot of them are very basic and very straightforward. So these are some that you don't even need to make up ahead of time. These are things that you could probably just take out of your freezer or your fridge and just add them straight to your crock pot. So that's kind of what I wanted to do this month. I wanted the recipes to be pretty easy. I was even saying to my kids that some of these recipes, I could have just put them together instantly and I would have had them ready for me. But if you need to work during the day and you need to just pull it out the night before and defrost it in your fridge and then cook it the next day and have it ready for you for supper, then that would be different. But for us, I'm usually home, so some of these meals I could have just put in my crock pot. All right, so I want to go over some of the things that I've noticed with starting out making freezer meals, that I found other videos where people will just go over all the ingredients and stuff in the freezer meals, or they will just show you some of the ideas that they are doing that month. Or a lot of people actually sell packs, which is amazing for people like us that don't want to put packs together and we want just to be able to do the recipes. So that's kind of what I wanted to do for you guys, is put some recipes together. This is not my own pack, and I don't know if I will ever have that or not, but for right now, I like using Crystal Lopez. She always has great crockpot meals. And then the one that I found today, I forget the name. I will leave it down below and share that with you. But for these freezer meals, what I want to go over with you guys to make it really easy to understand, if you're looking at it as a quick overview of how to make these, one of the things that you can look for in making freezer meals, what meat do you add to your freezer meal? So that's the first thing that we want to think about. So if you want to start your own little grocery list of how to get freezer meals in your freezer, this is one idea that I could give to you. So when I go grocery shopping or I do my Walmart pickup order, I go on the app and I look at how much chicken that I'm going to be needing for them freezer meals. So if I'm going to be making 5 freezer meals and all 5 of them are chicken, for my size family, I'm going to want to have a full pack of chicken. So I would probably divide that to 2 freezer meals, a couple packs of chicken for me to do all of my freezer meals if I'm just using chicken. Down on a piece of paper what you want your meat choice to be. So you could put these in categories as to what you want to make. And then you also can jot down if you need beef broth, if you need chicken broth, what is going to be your base. For me, I use different kinds of broth. I don't have my own bone broth yet. But I will use a paste once in a while, and then when I put my freezer meal in my crock pot, that is when I would add my water. One idea that could help is, what kind of meat would you like to pick for your freezer meal? Would you like to maybe just prep your bags with your spices and your vegetables and then add your meat later? You could also do that and have a bunch of bags in your freezer already prepped and ready as for your seasonings and your veggies. So that's another option. Another option would be writing down your meat choice, and then if you're going to have a Mexican style, what are the things that you want to add to your Mexican style freezer meals? Do you want corn, cilantro, black beans? Are you going to add rice later in your meal? So you would jot down a little note that's going to be added to that meal that day, or are you going to make that separately on the stove? So these are all the things that kind of ran through my mind, as in if I want to be able to make my own freezer meal someday. So I just found that it was pretty easy if you're just going to write it down, really simple. So you would just add your meat, and then you could write down what vegetables you want to add per which freezer meal, and it doesn't have to have a name. I know a lot of these come with names, as in, like meatballs and gravy. Okay, so if you just want to do meatballs and gravy, just dump a bunch of meatballs in a bag, add some gravy on top. I mean, these are dump and go. You just add a bag of frozen meatballs, add some gravy to it, and that is going to be your meal. And then your veggies and your side dishes, that's just something you can just grab off the shelf if you have a lot of that. If you can, you could just open up a can of vegetables and add that to your meal. So these freezer meals don't ever have to be really complicated. The more and more I do them, I see how simple the recipes can actually be. You're just wanting to have the size that you need for your family. So kind of have to double up on the bags, and then I kind of label that on my bags that I'm going to have 2 bags, and knowing that I'm going to be using probably both of them bags for that meal. All you really need to do is plan them out. If you don't have a way to get some of these freezer meal packs, I will list some of the ones that I'm going to be using anyways down below, and see if I can find you the direct recipes to some of these, and then they're very simple. A lot of these recipes are like 5 ingredient freezer meals. They're not hard at all. So if I can do it, you guys can definitely do it. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys started doing freezer meals, or if you've been doing them for a long time and still continue to do them. I think I will be doing this. I'm not sure if I can do it every single month, but I found that just doing these recipes gives me ideas on things that I can just put together, not even having a freezer meal. If I know that I'm going to be able to put this in the crock pot, these are things that I could just throw together. One of the things with us storing food is we pretty much have meat and stuff on hand all the time. One thing that I wouldn't have on hand all the time would be fresh vegetables. That would be something I would need to plan for. Unless I have some freezer stuff, like freezer bags of vegetables, then I could do something like that and just add it to my crock pot. So a lot of these are just very basic. Like I said, you can just add a lot of the chicken and gravy to your crock pot, let that cook through the day, add some veggies, and then make some homemade bread, or add some bread to the side, or a salad, and that's pretty much a meal. So that's how simple some of these recipes are. For me, I like to do everything quick and easy. So if I'm going to be adding vegetables to my freezer meals, a lot of times they're probably going to be a frozen pack. Unless I'm doing like fajitas, then I would be adding the fresh red peppers, green peppers. I did one last month with jalapenos, and it was so delicious. All right, so now I'm going to be moving on to the chocolate chip cookies. So I thought this was a really good idea, and I know other people will do this, especially during Christmas time. They'll make ahead cookies and then just pull them out. Now, what I do too is, like, if I buy cookies already made from Walmart, I put them in the freezer, and then my kids just grab them. They either eat them cold, or they will put them in the microwave for like 15 seconds. But this is what we're gonna do. So I'm going to just make up a batch. I only made one batch, I think. Maybe I doubled it. I don't remember. So I have these in the freezer, and all you need to do is just pull them out, put them on the pan. So this batch is going to be enough for just one batch of cookies for us. With these, I would just probably take out this whole batch and just cook them all at one time. Or what I could do next time is cook them right away and then freeze them, and then the kids could always pull them out of the freezer and not have to wait for me to cook them. So that's another option. I just thought it would be fun to try it out this month and see how easy it was. Sometimes I'm not the best when it comes to doing a lot of prep work with cooking. So if my kids want cookies that day, I'm not really interested in doing all the homemade stuff necessarily when it comes to cookies and baking. So I like to prepare myself for stuff like that because a lot of times I don't have time for the extra work. But this is something that I can do like on a day where I know that I'm going to be meal prepping, and having that already in the freezer is awesome. So one of these days I will be baking these chocolate chip cookies. So I'm going to go ahead here, get these cookies done, and then we are going to be moving on to the smoothie. All right, with this green smoothie, I will leave the recipe also for this down below. So you are going to want to have some spinach, mango, some bananas, and then I did add some chia seeds to this recipe. I don't remember if I added honey or not, but so I'm doing a voiceover after I made this recipe, so I can't remember what I all added to the recipe. But so I ended up putting these in little baggies, and one of my boys, what he ends up doing, because I put these in the freezer, he actually just takes them out frozen and eats it with a spoon. So he doesn't add any liquid or anything to this recipe after. But if you are going to make this into a smoothie, you will want to add a liquid to it. So you're going to either add some water, oat milk, some almond milk, regular milk, some, anything, coconut water. But that's pretty much it for this recipe. So I'm going to go ahead and quick make this up and put these in the freezer. That is everything for today's video. I will list what I can down below for these freezer meals. I have some of them from Pinterest, and then some of them I am just in an email and I get them throughout the month. So I kind of put some together that I thought would work for us for this month. Recipes are things that you could probably just do really quick and put them in your crock pot. You don't necessarily need to do freezer meals with these. These are kind of like dump and go freezer meals, so they're pretty easy and pretty basic. So we store a lot of food here that I'm able to just kind of put these freezer meals together. But also when I do my large family grocery haul, so I do a once a month grocery haul, and when I do them, I try to think of what I'm going to be using for the freezer meals. So that's what I did this month. If you guys missed that video, I will list that video down below and you guys can go back and check out that one. I have a whole playlist on grocery videos and grocery hauls that I've done in the past. And I also will do my freezer meals. So I just started doing freezer meals a couple months back, but you can go back. I usually would go through Crystal Lopez and a lot of the ones that she has. I kind of got a lot of what she has already, and I don't want to repeat a lot of them for you guys. Maybe next month I'll go back and get another pack from Crystal and then share them with you. Just wanted to share what I wanted to do for January, and then I will use these through the month on some nights that I'm just not going to be able to get to a meal, and I can just pull it out and put it in. Sometimes if I put it in the afternoon, they're done by supper, but if you want, you could take them out the night before. That's what it says on there. Take it out the night before and then put them in your crock pot and then let them cook for the day. So you can do that. But I wanted to share this with you guys because I know that you guys love freezer meals. I love doing them now. I wish I would have did them years ago. I think they would have worked out amazing for our family in the past. They are working for us now too, so I don't mind sharing them with you guys. But that is it for today. So hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.